it's Elle, otherwise known as the Marketing Blondie, and I make videos about social media and internet marketing for online coaches and experts. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to really stand out in the crowd, especially against other coaches, experts, course creators, online service providers who are way further along and have years more experience than you do. So this is something that comes up quite a lot. That I hear that, you know, how do I stand out when as an, you know, specific coach when I'm up against all these other coaches who have done way more and been around for way longer? Like, why would somebody come to me? So I'm just going to give you some ideas in this video about how to sort of market yourself, and in a way that also you stay ethical and, you know, you're not lying about your experience or your qualifications or anything like that, and obviously still kind of, you can still stand out from your competition that way. So for example, let's take a business coach, for example, like myself. So I'm kind of in the social media and internet marketing niche. So if you were like a business coach or a marketing coach, and you're kind of and you're like at the very beginning, you're just breaking onto the scene, maybe you haven't even had any clients yet, and you're sharing knowledge, you're teaching from knowledge, right? So you're not teaching from experience yet, you're sharing purely from your knowledge, and you're up against other business coaches. And this is, to an extent, the position that I would genuinely be in right now, right? There's so many business and marketing coaches online who are, you know, who have made multi millions. I haven't made that much for myself or my clients. So how am I going to stand out against them? So back to the example. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So so you're up against a coach who has grown, you know, multiple companies to multi-million dollars. You might kind of feel a bit like a fraud, right? Like if you're coming onto the scene as this coach who's basically helping online entrepreneurs how to grow their business, and you're like, but like other people have like grown businesses to like the millions, and I'm like at the beginning of my journey just kind of sharing this stuff. Like I feel a bit, you might get a bit of the old imposter syndrome, right? You might start feeling a bit like, oh, like, do I really have the right to kind of be sharing this and be teaching this? Maybe you're a brand new health coach or fitness coach, and you're up against personal trainers, gym owners, dietitians, nutritionists, you know, people who have been around for a while, people who have been around for like a while, and maybe have even, you know, got way more qualifications and experience than you. Or maybe you're a money coach. I don't actually really know what a money coach is. Maybe you're like a money coach who's up against someone who has manifested millions in cash and helped other people do the same, and you haven't got to that point yet. Like, you love everything there is about money manifestation and law of attraction and all of that, and you feel like it's your duty, like when you talk to your friends and your family about it, you're like, this is the thing that I love, and it's your duty to share it with others, but you haven't manifested that much money yourself yet. I mean, maybe you have a little bit and it's worked, or whatever it is, the deeper transformation, but ultimately there's other gurus out there who have, you know, made millions from manifesting money, and you're up against this person. Like, why would somebody buy your course or your container as opposed to that other person who has done millions? So the thing is that people will like what you talk about, and people will resonate with your message. The kind of content that you create, regardless really of how experienced you are, the kind of content you're going to create is going to really hit people and activate them, and it's going to be really potent, and it's going to be really compelling. And I think that in a way where in the same way as when we meet someone in real life who just totally vibes with us, right? I know there hasn't been a lot of that going on since 2020, but you know, when you're just like out, or you would get introduced to a friend of a friend, or maybe you've met colleagues at work, and you instantly just get on, you just vibe, and the person's saying stuff, and maybe that's exactly the same stuff that's in your head, and you're like, wow, like I think about that all the time, and you've just said it. And that's basically the same connection happens online when people see your content. So when you're kind of sharing your journey and you're sharing what you're doing and what's worked and what's failed, and you're holding your hands up and saying, hey, I did this and it didn't work, but I'm sharing it so that you don't make the same mistake, but I tried this and it did work really well. That kind of authenticity and vulnerability and honesty is going to be really what positions you as the expert, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just like a snowball effect. It's kind of like a knock-on effect, and people will then start, when people start coming to you for this knowledge and even just sharing your own story, they're kind of positioning you as kind of an authority and a leader in their eyes anyway. It doesn't matter about anyone else. They see you as that, and that's really all that matters. There was another thing that I was going to say as well that I thought was really good. I don't know. Awkward silence. When you're talking, and then in my head I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make that point next and it'll be really good. And it's not on here, obviously, because it's something that I just thought of. But anyway, so yeah, just share. I think the main takeaway from here is to always be ethical. Never, ever, ever lie. If you never lie, you never have to think about what you say, and you're never going to have to think about being caught out. And you're never going to have to think about the last lie you told. So always just be honest. If you haven't got any clients, just say, by the way, I haven't got any clients yet. But I'm doing this, or I'm doing this. Oh, that was the thing that I was going to say. It's just come to me. So one thing that I'll talk about this in depth in another video, because I do want to keep these videos fairly short and sweet so people don't get bored and lose interest. One thing that I would say, when you're up against these massive, big, influential coaches and leaders and experts and course creators and service providers and people who have all these things, they typically have larger transformations that they can offer to people, like 0 to 1 million in 12 months, let's say, for example. And obviously you can't compete with that because it's not something that you've done, and you wouldn't know how, because you've never done it for yourself or someone else. So what you need to do, like what I would do from that sense, is that the things that you start talking about and sharing, and even if you come up with your own paid offer, I would really, really strip the transformation back to something that's really small and niche, and that you've done, that you've done for sure, and that you're confident that if you taught someone that small kind of niche, precise, concise transformation, that you'd be confident that it would work for them, because it's something that you've done over and over, or it's like a pretty bulletproof framework that you use yourself. And typically it helps if it's something that's controllable. So for an example, I could easily teach, like I don't know how to teach an online entrepreneur to make their first 7 figures in a year, because I have no idea how to do that and I've never done it myself. But what I do know how to do is create content in a way that makes me feel excited about it, doesn't leave me feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, and in a way that I can make that content compelling enough to kind of attract my dream customers and start building my email list. Because that's something that I've done. I would jazz that up in a way that was more like, and that means that you can then generate leads and make sales. People want sales, that's what they want. But that's something that I'm very, very confident that I could help people do. It's not the big picture, it's not the big transformation, the multi-million-dollar transformation, but it's certainly somewhere where somebody needs to start. And another point that I've just thought of, which I think is the original thing that I wanted to say, was the thing that makes you really, really likable to someone as opposed to a big influential coach or creator who's been around for ages and is very, very, very successful in what they've done. Sometimes that big coach can lose that relatability to a lot of the little people who are starting at the beginning. So you only being 1, 2 or 3 steps ahead, you're very, very relatable and you haven't lost touch with reality, because the issues that your dream clients are having, you were having not too long ago. You weren't having them 10, 20, 30 years ago, where the solution's now different. You had them last week. So teaching what you know is like, yeah, I've solved that problem recently, and this is what's worked very recently, which means it should work for you. So that's what I'll leave you with for just to recap and round up this video. So that video was for if you're an online coach and you're a beginner and you're not sure how you can stand out against the competition, against the big players, then that's how you can do that. Okay, I'm really, really bad at finishing off videos. I wish I could just be like, okay, thanks for watching, bye. But I just ramble on and I just look silly. So I've got my Christmas coffee mug. It's not Christmas, it's middle of February. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.